This is Dent Digest, the podcast dedicated to all things painless dent repair. From the latest techniques to cutting-edge tools, we dive into engaging discussions with renowned dent repair experts. Buckle up for industry success stories, tool reviews, and valuable insights from individuals who have mastered the art of eliminating dents without a trace. And now here's your hosts, dent repair gurus Ryan Shutt and Alex Kukulis.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Dent Digest live show. What's up, buddy?
Not much. What's up with
We're
you?
back. We're back. We've been
In a
gone
minute.
for a little bit, and I appreciate everybody bearing. And I can say one thing again, a lot of people reaching out, just saying, hey, you know, everything okay? And I'm still working through my health thing, so and work is just out of control. So
busy.
bear with us. We're gonna do what we can to keep bringing some shows, and I've got some pretty good stuff lined up in the pipeline. So I'm excited.
Yeah. How long? We missed what? 4 weeks?
4 weeks, longest
4
I've ever missed in 6 years.
A lot.
You
It was a
know,
nice break though.
yeah. You know, you
Nice.
kept trying. I'm like, I can't this week. I can't do this week. You know what I mean? It was just
I
one
know.
after the next. Last week you were like, hey, can we do a show? And I'm like, absolutely not.
I didn't mind though because I was pretty busy. So
You know, business is good. You know, we just got hit with some hail locally, actually right in my neighborhood. So you know how
That's
much fun
awesome.
that is.
is it like gravy hill or
Well, you know what? I classify gravy hail.
I don't know, like acorn damage?
These are small dents, but there are
It's
10
peppered.
quadrillion of them.
Yeah. it's not
I don't know
good.
if you guys can see this picture. You're not going to be able to see
No.
it, are you? Son of a
Nope.
gun. But it's when you only count like a quarter of the roof and you're like, it's maxed out. Everything's touching.
Mhm.
So, but you know, the claims are $7,000 to $10,000. The roofs are smoked. I maxed everything out, but the roof really, I like the Subaru I wrote. I can have them done in like 3 hours
Really?
because they're just a lot of one pushers close together, and you can just put your headphones on
Yeah.
and just smoke it. So I think it'll be good. And we have
and
hail
Shutt-
from the storm earlier in the month, little like northwest of us. That stuff's a little worse.
Yeah.
So
Me and Shalot split a car like that. Like I think he got like 8 grand for it. 10,000. Dude, we were done in 4 hours. We split it. It's like 2 hours each.
yeah,
You know,
if you got a good team partner, man, sometimes you guys get in a groove, right?
it made me really want to go on the Hell Trail. I'll tell you that.
Man, that's a
I
different
was
animal.
like, I would go on a Hell Trail, man.
It's a-
I'm a homebody. I don't know if I'm into it.
So I got 2 tools I want to talk about. I didn't go to the shop today. I wrote 11 or 13 hail cars today, so I didn't make it down
Wow.
there. But first off, I've been using the A Better bar.
Do you like it?
I haven't really put a whole lot about it out.
Jared Kirk.
I really like it actually. It's different than the Dent Dial.
It is.
I've actually been using it just a raw tool without a tip in it. On like GM
the polished
fenders.
side?
Yeah. GM fenders right through the top where the headlight is. And it's a perfect, the way that it's already bent from him, it's a perfect bend to get that stuff.
Yep.
Range Rover fender too. I can slide that in between the brace, in between the headlight and the fender, like where the headlight is. There's a big brace there. If you come through the wheel well, you can slide in between the brace and just get enough to push. It's been working really, really well.
That's awesome. It works really good in like the top of Challengers and the Rams. I really like it for that, and the fenders.
And I'm not just saying this, guys, because I really don't like Alex that much. But
They
I'm
know.
stuck with them on the show.
They know.
And this is not really a biased thing, but those Kratos picks are fantastic.
They're good.
I like the thickness of them. They push really clean.
Mm-hmm.
You can push really hard with them, and it's not making a pick mark.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
To be honest with you, I'll sometimes flip them over on the heel of it and use the heel. So they have been a really, really good set for me personally.
It seems like a lot of hell guys really like using as a softer pick. But
it's almost like you can start the dent with that. It's almost like using a soft tip. Like you start the dent with that and then you finish it with something else. Like I'm using it on an aluminum expedition right now. So it's been really, really good. So how about you? You get anything new?
Like tool wise?
Yeah.
The K Power Junior.
Okay.
I really like it. So I do really like that thing. It's just super fast and simple. It's
the small one, right?
The small one, yeah.
See that we were just saying that, like we had a lift gate on the typical Model Y whacked right in that body line where the latch is.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the JVF up, and it's just too much.
It's big.
Right? The hatch is up. It's just too much on there. That K Power would probably be great.
I don't think I'd get the big K Power because I got two I got the small JVF and the bigger one. But with those new tabs have you seen Danny make those videos that bend and fold? I'm really only using the K Power with those tabs. So
okay.
I really like it. It's super fast, like especially if you have a stretch dent, I'm putting that lateral tension on a stretch dent and it works great,
That's cool.
But yeah,
it seems like hail is up and down throughout the industry right now. Some guys are really busy, some guys are not really busy.
I would not know.
I feel like the retail end is really busy right now.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think it would be with everything going on, in the markets. And I have a feeling that used cars are going to turn like it was in COVID.
Yeah. It slowed down this month for me.
Really?
In used cars. Yeah. The last 2 months were like record breaking, super busy. But this month slowed down, but like they're having record numbers in new car sales.
Which is crazy because some interest rates are still 7 or 8%.
That's for used cars. So the new cars are like, I think you get a new Tundra right now for 1.9 if you do like 4 years.
That's low.
Low. So I think that's why the new cars are doing so well.
What are you seeing at your Toyota dealer?
I'm seeing the used cars slowing down, but
what are you seeing them buy more SUVs, trucks, cars?
I'm seeing them. It reminds me of a little like 08, buying cheaper cars.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a lot more like Kias and Hyundais, like Elantras and the cheaper ones. But they're like 2022s, but I think you can still get them for like 25 grand.
Yeah.
So, but like,
I see like the Corolla is still one of the cheapest 4-door cars you can buy.
Yeah, I know.
Honda's over 30. Civic.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know like Hertz is keeping their rentals. They used to sell them at like 30,000 miles, and now they're keeping them till 60,000. So I don't know what they think is happening, but
there's a couple things that happen with Hertz just to feed in on that. GM had was it GM? No, Nissan. Nissan had a bunch of cars that were unresellable through the OEM.
Really?
Which means that they have minor defects, so like chips or stuff that they've repaired that didn't pass their inspection process, and they're selling them to the Enterprises and the Hertz's. Hertz got a huge load of Nissans.
Oh wow!
So
they probably had to sell them as a used car, right?
Yes, they gave them a discounted rate.
Yeah.
If not, they get destroyed.
It's crazy.
So, like we had a row of Cadillac Lyrics, and every single one on the left-hand side had this tiny little nicks, like smaller, like the head of a needle. Like it broke some windows, damaged moldings, nicked the paint throughout. And the body shop manager said, if we don't get these done by the end of the month, they're all crushed.
Wow.
31 of them. So craziness. But let's get our guest on, get this thing rocking. If not, we'll run till 10 or 11 o'clock as much as you talk. So, you know, but let's get them on. What's up, Bryce?
Hey guys, how you doing?
How you doing?
I see you laughing back there in the backstage when I'm talking shit to Alex. So,
well, unlike you, Bryce actually likes me.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
You guys be nice to each other, okay? Come on, everybody get along. So, man, thank you for having me on the show again.
No problem.
Be one of my favorite PDR podcasts out there for sure.
Nice.
Not just saying that either.
Is it because we argue?
No, you guys are real, man. You guys are just straight up real. You know, real people. So
I saw a little news. I'm not on Facebook as much as I used to be. I just don't have the physical time, right? When you get to a point in business and you're running around and you got employees and you got this and you got that, your mind space is busier than it usually is. So I don't get on Facebook a whole lot, but I did see that you finally launched your secret training platform.
I did, man. After many years of debating, I finally pulled the trigger, and I think I wanted to make it special, and I think I achieved it. And you know, I wanted to bring a really tremendous value. You know, if someone's going to spend the money to get better and invest in themselves, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be something that was, you know, memorable for them, you know. So it's basically just like a streamlined version of my in-person training. It's definitely, you know, in-person training obviously is, you know, it is just that, you know, it's the way to go if you really want to dive deep, you know, be able to ask all the questions and stuff. But this essentially covers everything that's taught in the in-person training.
Do you think it's going to slow your in-person training down a little bit?
Potentially, yeah, maybe. I really don't know, but I wanted to make it convenient, you know, for people that can't, you know, the logistics of it, you know, it coming from, I mean, yeah, you can log in and basically see everything that we do in-person training, and it's very thorough and it's real world, and you know, I talk about like the times involved on the repairs, the money involved, just questions that I get all the time, you know, like, you know, how much time did you have on that? And, you know, it's just, it's always, you know, the same questions, you know, like, how'd you start that overstretched dent, or how'd you, you know, fix that, you know, dent behind the brace, and how'd you get to that area and fix the stretched metal, or, you know, deep glue pull rails, things like that. Just, like ridiculous. Some of these repairs that you're going to see are, you know, they're kind of ridiculous, but it's designed to kind of push you and, you know, make you go through this stuff. And this way, everything else is easier, you know.
How has your in-person training been going?
Man, it's fantastic. I never thought that it would take off the way it did. And it's consistent, you know, it's at least once or twice a month now, which is really all I wanted to do. I don't want to take any more than that because I run a full-blown retail operation. So the name of the site is just Paintless Dent Repair Training Videos.com. Try to make it easy, you know, for people.
It's really easy to get to it off the links off your Instagram. That's how I got
you can go off, and they're on all the platforms on Facebook. Instagram,
YouTube.
The YouTube channel has it, but it was kind of a soft launch. You know, I didn't really. I think the real full-blown launch is probably going to be coming this week. You know, like where I actually dive in and show like the screen recording of like
getting
inside the course and showing what's in there. Right now, there's only about 7 modules, but it's about 30 lessons.
Wow.
And it was such a huge undertaking to do this. But go ahead.
When I was with you in 22, I think I trained with you in 22. You were like starting it then. It's taken you a long time to.
Man, I've just been gathering footage last, I guess, 3 years or so. Really.
How long did it take to break down like a 20-hour repair into an hour? That's got to take a long time.
Well, you know what it is? It's these are all done in clips because I'm using like a point of view. I'm using like the meta glasses, and basically that allows me to kind of have you right there, just seeing what I'm seeing. They're not, the glasses don't give. I mean, they're in high definition, like 1080p.
Yeah.
But I only use that in certain portions of the repair, like when I really want to dive in and see like the actual orange peel, moving. Then I use my iPhone, the 14 that I have. It's a Pro.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, that's like the most amazing tool that we have is that iPhone. It's just it's incredible what it can do.
Now, do you feel like it slows your repairs down doing this?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%. Yeah, and like the actual filming of all this, the things. I basically account for like another. If I'm going in and I know I want to capture some footage on a repair, I would say I'd probably add another 2 hours.
Okay.
Realistically, if I'm gonna break things down and try to set up the camera to get the perfect angle, and but for the most part, it's pretty thorough and in depth, and it shows everything, So all little tips and tricks and nuances, and my wife's like, "You gonna give away all your secrets?" And I'm like,
"Catch me if you can."
I'm like, yes, I want to provide an amazing value. So, I want other people to get to wherever they want to go. That's what this is for. I mean, yes, it costs money, it's expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a drop in the bucket. As far as an investment in yourself, and considering that these types of repairs, a lot, they afford me to, they give me the ability to make as much money as I want. That's the beauty of doing these repairs, because they're very difficult. Not everybody wants to do them, but they're very, like, the fruit's there. You just it's
it'll never be slow.
Yeah, so like it applies to a lot of hail guys that are on the hail trail, and they want consistent money, and they want to be able to push themselves a little bit and maybe have steady income doing these types of repairs on the off season. I get a lot of students that come through that are hail chasers, and they just want to be able to have the know-how and walk up to a dent and say, "Oh, I got this,"
Yeah.
So
now going back to your tips and your tricks, and like your wife was saying, you get to a point in your career that you're like, whatever, right? You get to a point when you're like, catch me if you can, whatever. It's going to take a while for you to get to this point. Like we just had a seminar for State Farm at my shop, which was like 43 adjusters. And we went through a ton. There was 4 hours. And the adjusters are like, aren't you scared about like telling everybody your secrets? And I was like, no, everybody's got YouTube.
Yeah.
I said, you guys know how to fix a dent. There's a plunger in the bathroom. You can fix a dent. Everything's fine.
Right.
But it was just funny that they're like, are you worried about giving all your tips out? And
yeah, that's 1998. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like when they used to pull the tarps out.
Yes. Hey, I was there. I did it.
The guy I started in 2008 would drop his easy up every time he saw
You would take your board down and be like,
yeah,
man, what are we
Put your
doing
tools
here?
away, Alex. Put your tools away.
That's so ridiculous.
Now I'm like, please take a picture. Follow me around.
Oh my gosh.
For sure.
Now, how much time did it take you when you started this process in figuring out what repairs you were going to put on this on this platform, and how you were going to approach it to break it down for most people to understand?
Yeah, so basically, in the in-person training, we basically cover. There's about 3 or 4 major things that we touch on, and that's a lot of it is like overstretched dents, which we really dive in and go deep on because um, I think it's important to understand how to shrink metal, and understand the physics behind it, and what it's doing and how it's getting there, and so that was one of the ones that I decided on to put on the channel or the platform there. Another one was like getting behind braces and shrinking metal, which
That's
super tough, and I have one really good example on there. It's on an aluminum hood on a Mazda CX-9, where it's like completely obstructed, and yet we go in there and it's a dent this big. It's a $900 dent, and we go in and fix it, and it's done in 3.5 hours. And It came out great. So maybe more time than that.
On that,
it's 4 hours.
on the shrinking of braces, do you think anyone's ever going to come out with like the copper rods to help us?
Get in there. Keith actually has his brand new shrinky box on the Black Leg site, and that has a bunch of different attachments, which are really cool.
Okay, is that what you're using now?
I'm not using it yet, but he brought it here to Florida for MTE, and I got a chance to peek at it, and it's pretty awesome.
I heard it's pretty affordable too.
And affordable, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just have the CVH, and the Power PDR box. But
that's what I got.
But yeah, it was basically kind of it was the overstretched metal, the deep rail shot. Everybody wants to do a really deep rail shot, get through one of those. Oftentimes, that's that one dent on the rail that kicks it to the body shop a lot of the times. And why not just get the money and do it, right? So that's kind of an important one as well. And then we have what do we have here? Basically like body line dents, lateral tension placement, fixing a smash, whatever. We at the end of the training, we do kind of like a grand finale for the most part, like where you take all these things that you kind of learned here and we apply it to a really nasty smash. And that's essentially like the grand finale. But
have you got a tech in there that's kind of scared, as in they look up to you, they come there, they know they're a pretty good tech, and they just struggle?
Well, no, that's one of the things with my training is it is a non-judgment zone. So when you get there, we basically just kind of assess, see where you're at, just to, it helps me help you. And I try to make them feel comfortable and at home, because I know what it was like when I first started fixing metal. It was not fun.
Yeah.
So, it's intimidating. Yes, I get that. But at the same time, I need to be able to help the student, and I need to see where they're at. And I tell them up front, I say, it's not a competition. It's not. I just want to see where you're at. I want to basically, get you to that next level, or get you to the place that you want to go, And, but for the most part, we have fun. It's nothing's like super serious. We're having fun. We're bouncing ideas off each other a lot of times. And I'll be honest with you, I learn a ton from some of the guys that come through, and it's mind blowing. It's like, 2-year technician teaching me something, which I never knew. But reality of it is, when we do the repairs, it doesn't really matter how much time goes into them. I just try to help them get through them. That's the biggest critical part, because, if you get through something and you're like leaving it halfway and you're, it's just, to me, it's just like the value is in getting to the finish and finishing all the way through, because now you know what's involved and you know what to prepare for on your next smash, but yeah, we go pretty deep in several areas for the most part. It's basically just like, like I said, the overstretched stuff is huge. The deep rail dent edges, like double metal, is like literally one of the hardest things that I've ever kind of pursued. And that's like my specialty now, is because I've really like I like dove in and like started swimming on some of these crazy repairs, and just I'm really starting to figure them out to the point where I'm not scared of them anymore whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that you'll see on the site. You'll see this Tesla is ridiculous. It's a stupid repair, never should have been repaired, but it packs a tremendous value. There is so much to learn from that repair, and it's ugly. It looks ugly before it gets better, right? But at the very end, we dive real deep. You'll see me working at 1 o'clock in the morning on this edge, and it's like, it fights me, a lot of the time, a lot of the way through. But there's so much value to kind of watch that go down. And Tesla hatches, Tesla Model Y hatches, they are literally like, it's like pulling off a feat. Like,
yes.
They are the hardest panel bonded areas in existence. But
yes.
Once you can get through one of those, I mean, those you basically can just like, they're super hard. They're probably the hardest types of repairs that I've ever done. So, but that Tesla's on there. We got the smashed Acura from Texas that we broke down, and Tesla's from Maryland. These are out of state repairs, so the pressure is on with some of these jobs. Like I preach to my students to never become comfortable, like in any situation while working on a repair. Just don't ever become complacent or comfortable. You're always on your toes. But what does that do? It's kind of like a discipline, and it keeps things rolling, and your repairs come out that much better, when you're that more.
Now, Josh is asking about the mileage. Does that matter for the online training? Your mileage restriction?
No, not the online training. No, all my competitors feel free. There's already a few on there. So.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Now, listen, I'm not worried about it. Like, I honestly think that we have such a tight community, and there's so much work out there. I mean, like there are tons and tons of cars out there. It's just a matter of finding the right customer for your service.
Yeah, dude, Bryce. No offense to anyone else, like your other competition or whatever, but like, you've built a brand alone, and everyone wants to like be associated. Like, I hope you did that. Like, your brand is the best. Like,
listen, man, I'm just trying to create a standard. I'm trying to work at a higher standard, so it creates higher standards. That's the bottom line. That's just what this is. And people have asked me, like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you do this? And that's the answer, because I mean, it's like, why not? Like, why not be the best that you can be?
I also think you enjoy it.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Like, I get to go to work and do something that I absolutely freaking love. Yeah. It's hard work. Like when you choose to do things like these types of repairs, it's hard work. But man, mentally, it balances you. It balances you when you take on these complex things. And I know I sound like a broken record when I say that, but it's the truth.
It's super rewarding though. Like, when I did that Venza with you, I was like,
oh my gosh, that thing was ridiculous. That was such a great repair. That's you can definitely
and your dealer
yourself on the back on that one.
Your dealer, like, I remember working on that Chevy truck at that dealer, and you're like, hey, I got this Toyota, you want to look at it? And I was like, I was like, yeah, I'll probably need like 2 days.
That was such a fantastic job on that. I mean, that's one to put in the books.
I learned a lot on that.
Really, really intense repair. High strength steel, had it all.
Did you have anybody help you with this process for the online training?
You know what? I did not. That's like one of the best ways for me to learn is to just like dive in and figure it out. And I got to tell you, man, it's not easy. It's like learning like some of this software. Like you can ask my family members. I was cursing a lot, but you know what? Listen, I can kind of, right now I'm having a little trouble with the coupon codes not working. So I have to figure that out. That's tonight. But there's always going to be something that pops up that doesn't work for whatever reason, and I'm just problem solving, all day and night sometimes. But it's fun. I got to tell you, it is fun being able to actually see this come to fruition after all these years. And I've kind of kept it secret. I didn't really want to talk about it, but it's definitely it's really like exciting to see other people be able to get some good valuable information, and actually start to use this stuff. I see there's quite a few people that are on there, using it.
I really think it's going to change the industry because the industry's already changing. I see 2-year techs doing stuff that I didn't even do till I was 7 years in.
Yeah, man. It's not only me. There's a ton of guys out there that are absolutely crushing it.
And I think technology is on our side too, right? There's a lot of technology. When I started, I was using Worth tabs, Stanley glue, and denatured alcohol, and it was the worst. And it's funny because I would sit back sometimes. I'm like,
did you cut your tabs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just terrible. I'm like, what are we doing here? When they gave us the little toolbox, I'm like, it sat in the back of my truck for years because I was like, I'm not using that thing. It sucks.
I remember
that purple oval Worth tab's still pretty good though.
Which one?
I have a couple of those.
Purple oval?
It's like a clear purple. Like, you remember that tab?
You can't break them.
I don't use them anymore, but I remember working at CarMax, and there was a dent tech locally that was retiring, and he wanted to sell me his glue kit. He's like, and this is like 2005 maybe, and like he's like, hey man, yeah, I heard you were up here. I figured I'd just drop by. He's like, I got this glue kit. I can't figure it out. It doesn't really stick. It doesn't work. And I'm like, all right, yeah, give it to me. I'll take it. And $150 later, and I was using Worth glue tabs. So, but
lighting the world on fire, boy.
Did you cut them?
What's that?
Did you cut those tabs?
Oh yeah, I used to make crease tabs and different types of tabs. Yeah,
the guy that trained me in 08 still uses them. He won't change.
What?
He still uses them, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He's still on a fluorescent bulb. He will not change.
That's cool. Yeah, I actually like fluorescent bulbs.
You do?
I do not mind them at all. I think
I tried to use my old Dent Dinking one. It was a 4-foot light. And I used to put it in the back of a Mustang, put the seats down.
Oh my god! I had a VW, a Volkswagen Jetta. I was rolling around. I had my 4-footer back there, and I hit this nasty pothole, and the thing went just
shattered the bulb,
powder everywhere. Yeah, it was just bad.
Yeah,
hell yeah, that's good.
Not good to breathe that in.
It's good times.
So
I was still using. This is what I used to use. We didn't have much lights.
Oh, yeah. The old wizard board.
You still use it?
My wife's like, I can't believe you're not throwing that away.
That thing is
and I'm like,
a relic.
Why would I throw this away? I think Carl Stuckey actually spray painted this, to be honest with you, because he was spraying a lot of these back in the day.
Oh, you gotta keep that then.
So, but you can see I had it on a lock line. You know how heavy this is on a lock line? Oh my god, but can't get rid of it, man.
Yeah, man, it works. It works. Why not? Why not use it?
So throughout your process, when you're trying to publish these videos, are you doing them kind of in a sequence? Give me a little rundown of what you have. Because I remember some of the training platforms do like creases, or you just doing complex repairs on there. What exactly are you doing there?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be kind of a special repair. Yesterday I got done filming like a really nice Porsche turbo. It was like a nasty dent. We used some stand liner tools, like a rolling spoon on it, and I figured that might make for a good repair, so I pulled out all the gear and filmed it. So that's going to probably be the next one that I release next month. So basically once a month you're going to get a new video uploaded. They have to be they have to be of value for me to classify them as being worthy for the site there. But for the most part right now, there's, like I said, there's 7 modules like that, pretty much like it covers everything, every single facet of what we do. But Next month, I think it's on the 12th, I'll be releasing, that Porsche repair, and we dive pretty deep with the Stanliner stuff. And, but yeah, it's definitely, they have to be a certain type of repair, like something maybe that was really difficult. Mm-hmm. I think I did like a Rivian fender. I thought was going to be like really easy. That just blew my mind that how difficult it was. So I caught that one on film. I like probably about 10 minutes in, I'm like, man, I got to film this because this is valuable. So, but yeah, that, and I do a lot of like, I kind of mix it up between mobile and brick and mortar. So I have the shop location, and then I actually go out and do a few repairs on site. And I think those are valuable too, because man, it's like, you got to be MacGyver half the time, trying to figure out, because you don't have everything at your disposal all the time. So, but to me, that's fun. I kind of like, figuring it out, like, just throw me in the middle of the jungle and I'll try to figure it out, kind of deal. Right.
What's your plan? What's the future look like for the training? Are you still planning on doing in person and this, or are you trying to?
Yeah.
What's your long-term goals for the most part?
I would say the long term is probably going to be to do just training in general, just training, and maybe a few more students at a time, or maybe just kind of half and half. I don't know, like how I want it to go. I know that I do always want to push metal. I know I probably won't ever retire. I'm going to be honest with you. Like,
that's awesome.
I'm going to be 70 something years old, probably pushing on metal, because I love it. I enjoy it so much. So
I ran into a dent guy that was in his 70s, and like Old Town Scottsdale had a smaller lot years ago. And he had like a bunch of old A1 tools, and he was dipping them in plasti dip, and he's like, "This is how I don't get no pimples." He was calling them.
What is he doing?
He was like plasti dip cans. He was dipping his tools in plasti dip cans.
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Instead of taping them, and I never saw a guy do that. That was back in like 2015, but he had to have been in the 70s.
Wow.
Still pushing.
Yeah, we're starting to see some of these guys. They're dropping like flies, man, because of like when this all started, and now it's like they're getting older. It's kind of sad, like where it's, we're losing so many good guys,
Yeah.
But where do you feel that the industry is going? This is a conversation I have with the insurance company, and want to get your take. Do you feel like it's staying on par? Do you feel like it's expanding more into the collision? I know the answers, but I want to kind of pick your mind of where do you see our industry growing? Do you see it growing, or do you see it, there still isn't a whole lot of techs in all the areas?
That's a really jam-packed question. I think I would hope that it's growing in the sense that people are becoming more aware and understanding that this is literally the best solution that there is as far as an auto body solution. I don't really. It's hard to see where the needle's going, but I know we're trying. I'm trying to really push the needle as far as like showing what's possible and helping the insurance side of things, maybe make them more aware of what the possibilities are, and trying to get away from all the stigmas and the hole drilling stuff, which, to be honest with you, man, that right there, I remember Chris White reached out to me, and he's like, "Man, I got to really say thank you for posting in your video about not drilling holes." Listen, I'm not the hole drilling police. I just want to put that out there. But if we really want to change as an industry, we have to be a little bit more professional when it comes to that stuff.
Charge them to do the R&I. You know what I mean? You're going to make money on it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Take the car apart, do it right, and leave it the way it was, like before it was damaged, right? So it's one of those things. Like I'm trying, and on that end to change things. And I used to be the hole driller. Drills in both hands, baby. Right? But,
me too.
A holy man.
Holster.
If we want to become the best solution, right? The best quality solution, then put away the drill bit. That's all.
And it's all situational, right? That's what I try to explain to people.
I think
there are some repairs that you have no other option, and this is what the customer wants. You know, you get a really nasty dent and Audi in between the gas door and the inner quarter, and they want to have it fixed. They don't want it to go to the body shop. There's no other option.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the option, you know. But the other thing is some wholesale guys, they're still making $40 a panel.
Yeah, and I get that, and it's a really tough thing to navigate.
Yeah,
but
even in wholesale, you could like, if you're not getting paid, huh?
He said wholesale. It's a dad joke. It's a dad joke.
I'm not a dad yet, Bryce.
Go ahead.
You could be professional about it and hide if you drill a hole. Like you don't have to. Like I know a guy in Arizona that will drill 3 holes in the jam.
Yeah,
I mean, 2 inches away from each other. It's just Swiss cheese, man.
I saw today on I think it's Houston Dent Technicians Instagram page.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, they were redoing that.
I mean, that's just uncalled for. You know, like the person thought that they were going to get like, you know, an amazing repair or amazing technician, but instead they got, you know, the in-house guy from wherever, and then he's, you know, buzzing 5 holes in, and you know, so it's like, I mean, there's just use integrity. That's all it comes down to. And like you said, it's situational, and I get that. But that's a whole different topic, you know.
It is.
We could have a whole show on drilling holes. We should do that.
Did you really? You had a whole show?
No, we should.
Oh, drilling holes?
Yeah.
You probably should. Honestly, that would go viral.
I'm sure it would.
But
now, are you explaining what tools you're using during these repairs in the online? Okay.
Yeah. I talk about functionality, you know, selection. You know, a lot of these tools are. I use a lot of stand liner tools. I'm not just saying they don't pay me any money. I'm just speaking the truth. The tools they're fantastic. I mean, they are just like literally a game changer for me. But you'll see me using a lot of those types of tools. But I talk about typically like if I'm using a specific tool, I try to give maybe like a link or a picture of where it came from. There's a few videos in there that have like specific like links or just, you know, picture of the website it came from, which I think is important because I get a lot of questions about, you know, tools, what tool you using and all this stuff, you know. So I try to pack as much value. These videos, like a lot of these videos are, I mean, there's one video in there, it's like an hour and a half, you know, it's just like probably 5 or 6 lessons within that, you know, video. So like, for instance, like on the overstretched dent, we do like create the dent, and then we talk about the theory behind it, applying the tension, why it's important to have, you know, tension on that type of repair, the tool tip used, talk about the excess. We talk about the actual attachments for the shrink box, the first of multiple shrinking and knockdown sessions. It's a separate, you know, lesson. And then we talk about the critical and creative pushing strategies. And then finally, like the final touches on the repair. So each video is broken down into lessons, basically, you know, like they're probably about on average, maybe 10 to 20 minute lessons. So, yeah.
Now, is it like a monthly charge? Is it like, hey, you can buy for the year?
It's annual. It's an annual fee. And basically, you know, if you want to stay on board, you just don't do anything and it just automatically bills.
What's the price point on that?
It's $24.99. So it's basically $200 a month. And, you know, it's basically in line with what I'm providing. Like it's the value behind it. You know, it's just like you know, it's not cheap. I mean, but I wanted it to be something that is special. So,
well, I think you get to that point to where you need to be vested too, right? Like you're not just you're doing this. It's taking time out of your day, but you also want the people to invest in themselves, which is part of buying that.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Right.
Yeah. It's not even that expensive. You break it down though. I mean, that's like 1 30-minute dent in Ryan's shop, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One dent a month.
If you look at it, it's for a dent guy, it's a drop in the bucket for most dent guys, you know, that are high level dent, that want to be like high level producers, you know. So that's what this whole thing is, you know. If you've got to be serious, and you know, I have basically like a little disclaimer at the bottom. It says, you know, like you know, this is not, you know, you're not going to be Superman, you know, without the repetitions. So you have to be basically doing repairs every single day, right? And then you can start to think about maybe adding this to your arsenal, right?
Yeah.
But don't start learning dents like you're 6 months in, and then you want to jump to this. Probably need some time. You need some wholesale cars under your belt. You got to, you know, I'm doing this because I want you to be aware of what you're getting, right? I don't want you to just jump in, and it's a big investment for a lot of people, especially starting out. But I just want people to be aware of what they're getting. I mean, it's just an insight into what I'm doing every single day, and you're there. You're literally right there. We're working on retail cars. The pressure's on. It's a real world environment, and it doesn't get any more real, you know. So that's just what I wanted to give the people. So
I don't think there's anything out there in our industry like that. So
yeah, I mean, hopefully it's different and unique, and it's you know, it takes off. I mean, it's something that I've been just working on for a long time. It brought me a lot of joy to actually do it. So I mean, regardless, I had fun putting it all together, and I'm still, I mean, every day I'm working on it. So
what's the name of the site?
The name of the site is it's Paintless Dent Repair Training Videos.com. That's the actual domain, but it's just under my business name, Central Florida Dent Repair. So
okay.
Right.
Okay.
I got a question for you, Bryce.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Jared wanted to know, and we were talking about this earlier, Jared Kirk.
Oh yeah.
The better like when you started becoming known as a great dent tech and the customers bring you repairs because they thought it would be perfect, but you know that dent's not going to ever be perfect. How do you deal with like the imposter syndrome? Like never, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's imposter. It's more kind of, you put in the work to become who you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. And you hope that people kind of, you know, see that and are receptive to it. And they, you know, they're bringing in this car because they trust you because of what you've put out there. And you can be confident about that, right? Because, I mean, if you're working at a high level every day, you're putting out quality work. I mean, then what's there to hide? You know, it's just, what I tell people is this. I say, you know, this repair we're doing is not something that you're going to see a lot of people doing, but I'm going to basically take this car and give it my absolute all. And I never tell anybody perfect. I don't even use the word perfect because perfect does not exist. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And maybe on a door ding or something like that. But it's something that is kind of in people's minds that they have to be like this perfect thing. And it's like, it's what I do is I tell my customers straight up, I'm like, this repair is extremely challenging for any technician to pull off to a very high level, but I'm going to give this my absolute all. And I you know, if it means like me working on like a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, I don't even tell those people perfect. You know, I tell them it's going to be 98, 99%. And my 99% is most people's 100% is what I say to people, right? And they say, oh, they think for a second, oh, all right, yeah, that makes sense. But it's all about the preparation, right? Yeah. You have to, and when I say you have to, exactly, you have to set the expectation up front so that there are no surprises at the end, right?
Yeah.
Last thing you want is for somebody to come up at the end and be like, I can still feel it, but I can't see it, but I can still feel it. You know what I mean? Like taking their eye and like they got their light on and their iPhone, they're looking at it. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing, right?
I like looking out the front door on their hands and knees, like looking at it from the ground up, and I'm like, did I miss something? Is there like a golden ticket up in there? Or what the hell are they doing?
I had a guy on his hands and knees over a Porsche because I mean the dent was gone. Yeah, and he couldn't accept that it was gone. I don't know if he was. You know, sometimes some people like try and use it as a discount. I kind of felt like that was going on.
Yeah.
You know,
there's all sorts of things that they do. I mean, I mean, there's a ton of stories that I can tell.
Yes.
Yes. But I will tell you, you know, it's just a matter of painting the picture at the beginning as a positive one. And just being upfront and disclose everything. You know, tell the customer that what this is extremely rare, and if we can do it this way, it is ultimately going to be the best way that they can do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? So we are basically giving them the highest quality repair, using our high level skills, and basically pulling off a feat for the most part. You gotta make it seem like it's a feat.
And I still think it's crazy. I had a customer call today with a dent, and they still don't understand paintless dent repair.
No,
like, explain your process. Like I don't understand. I'm like, this has been around. I've been in it now 26 years. I'm like,
wow,
it blows my mind that people they still don't get it. They still don't understand. It's crazy.
That's the thing, is like, how are we gonna become the number one solution if people still don't understand it? It's just like,
well, there's
that's why I'm kind of like foggy as to where it's going. I mean, it's still not this mainstream thing. That's just, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of like it like this.
So do I.
I don't.
I like the Wild West aspect of what we do. What I mean? It's like even with dealing with insurance companies, it's like, I just don't want them to have a stronghold on us.
And they said that in the seminar. They said, you are kind of unregulated.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said, we are. I said, but look how much money we're saving you.
Yeah.
On everything, from rental to repair time to warranty stuff. I mean,
absolutely.
These body shops are using cheaper and cheaper materials that 10 years, they're not going to hold up.
Right.
I think when the insurance start doing like DRP, PDR shops, that's not going to be good.
They're so uneducated.
Huh?
They're so uneducated, right? Yeah. Like I had 42 estimators in my shop, and some of them were over 20, 30 years experience, and they still don't get it. They're still writing an estimate off of a State Farm hail schematic.
Yeah.
How can that
That's
even
crazy.
be a feat? You know what I mean? How can we even? I broke out that rollout, like the big round, fold out reflection board that had lines, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, where did you get that?" I'm like, Amazon for $19. You've been estimating cars for 30 years. What have you been using?
I know, man.
So the education is still something that we lack too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's going to be a long time before DRPs, real DRPs in paintless shops. It's going to be a while.
I don't think it will happen really, but I think there's honestly going to be a shortage because the younger generation, like my brother, who's 25, like he could be killing it right now, and it's just hard work. Like that generation does not want to work outside.
No.
And I think like that's causing a big shortage in the body shop world for body men. No one wants to be a body man.
Yeah.
And the body men now want to make a lot of money too. So I don't know. I mean, you could have a really good career in PDR. As like, I think it's the best time to get into it. If you're
I was just gonna say that. I think now, like right now,
best time,
literally the best time to be a PDR technician. It doesn't. I mean, it's insanely cool. It's unique, and that's what kind of makes us stand out. It's the fact that we're doing something that is extremely unique and extremely valuable.
I remember like I don't know, 8 years ago, there was this interior guy that couldn't understand why I got all this praise from like the dealerships I was going to. I was just, I don't know, man. It just my repairs stayed repaired, you know. Because some interior, like you fix a cigarette burn, it's not gonna last.
No, yeah.
You know, it will, like, especially on a seat, if you sit on it, you have to keep redoing it. Like, there's no retail market for that unless you reskin seats.
Speaking of that, you ever have a customer ask you if they can wash their car after you're
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
It's so funny. I'm like, yes, it's the same paint that you came in with. And they're like,
that just tells you that they don't understand what you're doing.
Nope.
They don't really value your service.
Nope.
Like, I'm just there fixing the damn dent, you know? It's like,
I don't know. That could come from like the gypsies and parking lots that smear the stuff on, and like they tell people like, don't wash it till tomorrow, but then they're gone. You know.
I mean, hey, they leave out of my shop with wax on them sometimes too. So
yeah,
you know.
I like that though.
I like that.
So, is there any beginning fee with your training? Is there any coupons? Is there any what are you running?
Yeah. Now this weekend I'm gonna run a special, basically like a 15% off coupon code. So just to get things.
So it can crash your site for you and you can figure it out. It'll be great.
Yeah, dude, it's so challenging to think, but I'm just glad it's finally here and I'm you know it's functional. So, but I'm in the background just working on videos and stuff, constantly adding things. So,
well, it's fun because we talked. What was it? Probably 6 months ago, and you were hinting about it on the show. And when I saw it launch, I was like, okay, he's been working a little bit
doing this. I just once I get going with something, I can't stop. I gotta just actually execute on it, you know?
Yeah.
So there is a question I wanted to ask, or that's in the comments. Jacob wanted to know if you get access to the whole library when you have made. Do you get yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Right now there's there's access
to everything.
There's all 30 lessons. There's like 7 videos up there right now, but our total is going to be like 19 videos by the end of the year, you know, basically.
Okay.
And then that'll be like a kind of like put to the side, and then we'll, you know, that'll be a separate thing, and then we'll kind of refresh next year with all new content, stuff like that.
So 5 years from now, you'll just be able to go through everything.
It's going to be, you can access different libraries essentially, you know. So, but like I said, with these 7 videos that are up there now, this is pretty much everything you need, like there. It covers everything that I teach in my course. You know, basically the 3 to 5 repairs that we really focus on. You know, that I feel are very important. So.
Are you gonna do the crazy Rivian repair?
Oh yeah, that's in the works. Yeah, the Rivian. There's a couple Rivians. I kind of felt like that one that there was like a gray one that was just blasted. That was stupid. That one packed a lot of value, but I think there was more value in the white. R1T, which is the
one with the big buckle,
huge buckle. Yeah, that one had like everything as far as like the setup. Like I spent like probably 2 hours on the setup alone, but man, when that thing started going, it was like
unfolded.
It was starting to move. Yeah,
it's amazing. Like did
you get that on video?
Yeah, I got a lot of footage from that. So
wow,
it's amazing how much technology's changed. Like I did a really nasty Rivian tailgate and did lateral tension, and I was using some motorcycle tools. One of my guys were watching me, and they're like, "You really didn't push hard. Like it just unfolded."
Yeah, it's an 80.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's like that is literally the way that dents are supposed to be fixed. Like if you ask me, that's the way natural metal flow occurs, is by helping and aiding, and then kind of moving it along, with your tools or you're releasing pressure, whatever the case is, right? That's going to give you a super clean repair always.
Yeah.
But, there's some instances where you just can't use it. I mean, obviously, but when you can, it is absolutely the way. There's no question. So,
do you go over your process of knocking down? Like, do you have because your talent is, I feel like you're so good at knocking down, seeing you work in person.
I think honestly, I use basically a lot of different knockdowns and different materials for each individual facet of what we're trying to do there. But for the most part, you'll see me switching different knockdowns and things inside the video and talk about it as well.
Okay.
That's extremely important, especially on like the double metal stuff. That is like, if you're using the wrong knockdown, it's going to make your life way harder,
Yeah.
So, but that's why I love those B&D knockdowns. It's part of my arsenal, it's become part of my arsenal.
I love, that's my favorite knockdown set, but do you have the new JVF mini?
You know who sent me that? Ed Van Deen.
Oh yeah. I have them. They're amazing.
Yeah. I think he sent me a link to those. Another thing is that Glexo blending hammer is badass. I don't know if you guys have
the light one, the hollow one.
Yeah, that thing is. For whatever reason, I used that once and I was like, okay, this thing is sick. Yeah. But those knockdowns, I've heard that they're fantastic. I haven't actually used them yet. So
it gives you the same hit as the big one. When I was training with you, we were using the big one, so it doesn't. Even the small one does the same thing. Just you could see.
Yeah, I mean, like it's about the materials, it's about the vibrations that they create, right? All these actually have like a function and a purpose. Like you have to be intentional with each knockdown that you're choosing. The weight is critical as well. So it's all this stuff is talked about and gone over.
Yeah. You know who loves that Glexo hammer is Manny.
I think
that's his favorite hammer. He's doing good.
He's in California, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Orange County.
Okay, cool. Yeah. He's such a cool guy.
He is.
Bryce, one tip for some of these techs out here that you would give that has some value, like a tech tip in business, in a repair.
Absolutely. That's a great question. And I was thinking about this the other day. It has everything to do with the repetition aspect of what we do. So before you start working on people's cars at people's houses, put in the reps, go to a dealership, get yourself a wholesale account, and just continuously push yourself on every repair and use video as a discipline, right? If it's not ready for video, then why would it be ready for the real world, right? So that's one tip that I kind of give everybody out there as far as like people getting into the industry. Like just don't learn PDR and start going to people's houses and pushing dents. I mean, you don't want to experiment on the general public's cars. You want to put in the reps. And I put in the reps at an auction for 7 years before I set foot in someone's garage, right? So, So if that tells you anything, it's extremely important. Just put in the reps. Get all that time under your belt fixing dents so that when you get to your customer's house, you don't have the butterflies in your stomach anymore. Yeah. Right? So it's like you're comfortable, you're confident, you know what you're getting into, and there's no surprises, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps somebody.
Well, I'm excited to see
it's a good tip.
The rollout of your training. I want to hear what people think, and so we'll have to check back in the next few months and see how it's going.
Would love to, man. I always appreciate you guys having me on. It's a super cool, low key, real people. Love it. So
you can tell us how it's going on the top 5 tools of the year.
Yes, for sure.
That's it.
For sure.
Well, Bryce, I appreciate you coming on, and if you need anything, let us know.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me. Okay.
Thanks for coming on, man.
All right, we'll see you guys.
See you, buddy.
See you.
Bye-bye. That was good. I think
what a good guy,
it'll do
man.
well.
He says that's the realest dude I know in the industry. I mean,
besides me,
besides Ryan Shutt, but, he's I was on the phone with him the other day, and I was like, yeah, you're the nice East Coast guy. Ryan is the not nice East Coast guy.
Hell yeah, let's go. Florida's not considered Northeast is different.
Florida is East Coast.
Yeah, but it's not Northeast. Northeast is different.
Yeah.
You can tell the dudes from Northeast. Like I can tell the PDR Texas boys are from New York.
Oh, really?
You can
But
tell.
They're nice. They're nicer than you.
What are you saying? I'm a dick? Man.
No.
Only to you, I'm a dick. I just hang up on you.
Deserved.
We're done now. Bye. Click.
Well deserved.
So, well, it's time to go. Everybody have a fantastic night. Thanks for joining us again. And we'll have another one, I promise.
Yeah. It won't be 4 weeks.
Yeah, it won't be 4 weeks.
See you, Ryan.
You guys, keep it real.
See you guys.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Dent Digest. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with your hosts, find them on social media at RPS Dent Specialist and at Arizona Paintless Dent Repair. If you found value in today's episode, please share with others. And until next time, this has been the Dent Digest.